We have a celebrity in the house. Suzanne Hobbs is a writer, woo-hoo, public speaker, communication expert, but her favorite title, and after I say this, I want everyone to go, "Aw," her favorite title is Mom. Aww. Yes. She worked for nearly 14 years in Idaho as a news anchor and a court and crime reporter for both NBC and CBS affiliate stations. She's also been a successful entrepreneur, and last September was given the Rising Star Award from her network marketing company. She currently lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina, where she spends time writing a series of children's books, sharing her message of living a healthier life, writing for a local newspaper, a fitness magazine, and other fun projects. One of them, she just told me that, I don't know, Ryan Seacrest is looking at doing a show with her, so that's kind of cool, huh?
She's kind of a big deal. And you know what's so cool? Do any of you feel like you may meet best friends on Facebook? So Suzanne and I met kind of on Facebook. Derek Balls actually introduced me to her. And I feel like I know her. When I saw her, I was like, I feel like we've been friends forever. Come on up, Suzanne. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I flew a long way to come see y'all. And I say y'all because I live in South Carolina now, right? I have to say that. And I have to eat my grits every day and all that. I actually sat near Paula Deen on the plane yesterday. So I was thinking about like the 6 degrees of separation, right? Because she knows Oprah, right? So anyway, all right. So my talk today is called The Power of One. And I love the message that I share, and I hope that you'll just stay focused with me for the next 30 minutes. Try and not look at your phone. I know it's a bad habit we all have. Bad. But I really hope that at the end of this, and at the end of these next 2 days, that you will have a little bit of a transformation, and that you will really realize how beautiful you are, how powerful you are, and that you can make an incredible difference in this world. And don't just think world, your home, your neighborhood, your community, your town, your county, your state, throughout. I use this image. It's like the ripple effect, right? You know about that. You drop a pebble in a pond. What happens? The ripples go out. And you never know where those ripples are going to lead. My dad used to wake us up every morning. I originally born and raised in Pocatello, Idaho. He'd wake us up in the morning. Rise and shine. It's a great day to be alive. And we'd all be so grumpy. And my sister said one day, Dad, just for once, can't you just be in a bad mood in the morning? And he said, well, why would I do that? Because if I wake up and I'm grumpy, I'm waking up 8 grumpy children and a dog and a cat and my wife, and we all go out into the town, to our schools, to our jobs, and then I've got 10 grumpy people who are then going to ripple their mood onto everyone else. So how did you wake up this morning? We can change it. If you woke up grumpy, hurry and change that, right? It can be changed. So the ripple effect, whether good or bad, you ripple to people every second. If you smile at someone, if you frown at someone, what you do really matters. So let's be positive and do good for people. It absolutely matters. There are people who need you to smile at them. And it doesn't take that much. It's so funny when you walk around, people get afraid to look you in the eye. I love to look at people in the eye when I walk by and say good morning or hello. And sometimes they just kind of, wow, that person talked to me. That's okay, because everyone wants to be acknowledged and loved and respected and just thought of. Everybody does, absolutely. So we're gonna talk about being present in your life. So when you know that moment comes to act, big or small, little ripple, big wave, that you're gonna know to act and you're gonna be strong enough to act on that. So my little question mark is to try to get you thinking. I know that there are many reasons why you may be here for this conference, and that you want to figure out, how strong you are, and that you want to ignite your life to maybe be more or do more. So for me, think about right now, what is it that's nagging at you? When you just kind of are always like, for me, it's finishing my children's books. I talked to a publisher again this week. Finally, I'm starting to get things done on getting my children's books because it's going to help me raise money for something I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But what's nagging at you? Finishing that college degree, losing those 15, 20 pounds, finally getting to the gym, talking to someone and apologizing for something that was said 5, 10 years ago? What's nagging at you that is always kind of like, I've got to do that? Is there something like that? If you're taking notes, which I hope you are, write it down, because we're going to talk about it later. Just, you don't have to share with anybody, but what's that one thing that you're just like, in my life, when I say goodbye to this world, I want to know that I've accomplished it. Is there something like that? So I want you to think about that. So a little bit about me. Embarrassing family photo. Born and raised in a very big family, Pocatello, Idaho. I proclaimed around this age that I would own a monkey someday. And then a few years later, I was really sure I was going to be a child psychiatrist. And I studied and read about it, and I thought that was going to be how it was. I also had a goal that by the time I was 25, I was going to visit all 50 states. None of that's happened. I don't have a monkey. I'm not a clinical child psychologist. I've been to 49 states. I had a plane ticket to go to Alaska, and then I ended up moving back east, and that's okay, because now I live by the beach, so it's okay. But I'm going to get there. So our life certainly has not turned out maybe how we planned when we were younger. Would everybody agree with me on that? And is sometimes that okay? Is it okay that we didn't marry that one guy that we were crazy about a long time ago? Whew. It's okay. Sometimes that's okay when our heart breaks, or when things get really yucky and we think we cannot go on and we think we cannot get out of bed. So I was raised in a very big Mormon family, right? We all kind of know families want to have grandkids and parents want to have grandkids. For me, it really wasn't crazy about being a mom quite yet. My goal was to be a news reporter. When I was a little girl, there's home videos of me using an ice cream scoop and talking about how our cat killed a bird. You know, I would report on everything, and I was the family news reporter. So that was my goal. I went to college, to a very Mormon school, Rick's College in Rexburg. I did not want to get married. I walked around campus kind of like this. I didn't date. I did not want to, because I wanted to be a news reporter so bad. So at age 23, I got hired at Channel 3 in Idaho Falls, and man, that was stressful, but I got my little job. So I had a great career as a news reporter, but by age 25, my family and my neighbors and my church leaders, they were all like, 25, you're an old maid. You need to start having babies. How about you marry this guy? And I'm like, ugh. So I did. I got married. And the plan was obviously to start having babies. And 1 year went by, 2 years went by, 3 years went by, no baby. I could not have children. We did tests and we did surgeries. We had people come up to my face, though, and say, you need to stop being so worldly, and you need to start having babies. They had no idea the pain, the surgeries, the expense, the sad nights, because of course, by that time, I wanted to have a child, and it wasn't happening. But here's the really cool part. Sometimes, like we said, when life doesn't go the way we want it to go, you are being prepared and set up for something beautiful, powerful, incredible. You can't see it around the road, right? Have you looked back, like that relationship, the guy that you didn't marry and you were sad at the time, right? You listen to all those sad songs, but you go, man, whew, I escaped that one, or whatever, or a job that you weren't able to get hired for, whatever that may be. You are being prepared for something. So let me tell you this. I'm going to talk about some sad stuff, so I apologize. I have tissues. So in the fall of 2000 in Idaho Falls, Idaho, I was working as the senior court and crime reporter, this time for Channel 6 News in Idaho Falls. I got a tip from a police officer that a day-old newborn baby had been thrown in a dumpster. And we know that this has happened countless times. This time, a man collecting aluminum cans found the body wrapped in a towel and called the police. So I rushed over there, and I got there right as they were putting up that yellow crime scene tape. And I stood there and watched that scene of the man that I knew from the funeral home going in there, and the detective pulling the baby out. And I stood there. I had been married several years, couldn't have a kid. I would have taken that baby, but someone felt so desperate that they had to deliver the baby and throw it away. That does not need to happen. There is a law in all 50 states, just so you all know, that you can hand the baby over, police station, fire station, church, within days, most within 30 days. Please have that discussion at your dinner table, at any event, church group, whatever, because you don't know who was hiding their pregnancy, and I'll talk about that in 1 second too. But this girl wore big sweatshirts, hid the pregnancy from her dad and her brother in the apartment that they lived in, and felt so desperate that she needed to throw that baby away. So the next day, police were able to find out who she was. She was an 18-year-old girl, and and she was sentenced. The autopsy was unclear, though, whether the baby even took a breath, so she was charged with unlawful disposal of a body. But maybe had she felt like she could say something, she could have gotten maybe some prenatal care as well. It's a sad situation for anyone to be in, to have to do that with a life and to make such a sad choice. So she served a few days in jail and probation. Another really sad story I'm just going to touch on real quick. Her name is Jessica Coleman. This is her boyfriend. In 1999, she was a 15-year-old Ohio cheerleader, star athlete. She also got pregnant, hid the pregnancy, didn't hardly eat, would only eat when family members or people saw her, but she was trying to stay skinny. Her boyfriend would stand on her stomach to push the baby in. Sorry. Nobody needs to be that desperate. But when the baby was born, I'm not going to go into the details because it's very sad, but she ended up killing her baby and going and having dinner with the family while the baby was in her closet. They threw the baby away in a quarry. The boyfriend threw the baby in a quarry, and a few years later, the guilt got to her. They did find the baby's body. They buried it. Other people, like the community, said, "This is baby Hope."
Very difficult. So Suzanne made it her mission to get a safe haven law passed in Idaho. How did you do that, safe haven law?
Speaking with that teenage girl's father during a television interview, he mentioned that he had heard that there was a law in other states. Idaho did not have that law, called the safe haven law. And he thought that if his daughter maybe knew about the law, maybe she would have taken the baby to a safe place. And he wouldn't be going through that.
And how does that law work? You just drop the baby off for a question back?
Exactly. That's the most important part of the law. You take it to the hospital, fire station, medical office, police station. You have to physically hand the child over to someone and say, "Mother, I choose to not have this baby," and you can walk away.
I got to be a mom, and I'm just so grateful. On a Sunday morning in 2003, a woman walked into a hospital in East Idaho and delivered a little baby girl. And I remember sitting in church that Sunday crying, wanting to be a mom. And we found out just a few days later that she was ours. But the mom slipped out never to return. She wrote a note on a hospital pamphlet and just said, I cannot keep this child. Please give this baby to the safe haven law. She knew about the law. And she went out for a permanent smoke break. The nurse walked into the hospital room and read the note, and then the process began of this child then becoming a baby of the safe haven law. And she was baby Haven for her first year, although we called her Lily Love, but legally she was safe haven baby. She's the 5th in Idaho. Now there have been 25 saved. So this is the first family photo of us. I was headed to the courthouse to go cover a story, and the phone rang. That was back when we had phones in our house, right? The phone rang, and I told Brandon, I said, "Just let it ring. We gotta go. It's probably your family calling to complain about something." Fortunately, he answered the phone, and they said, "There's a 2-day-old baby girl here," and we were on the adoption list just a short while. We thought we'd be waiting years, but they told us, well, we choose the right family for the right child. They had in the state of Idaho, people that were making up that decision of who, they had no clue that I was helpful in getting this law passed. So that kind of was nice. Just it was supposed to be. So that's our little girl, Lily Love. Now, had I not struggled to not have a child, I probably would have covered that story like any other story and been very sad about it. But that baby in the dumpster on Gladstone in Idaho Falls, I took it seriously because I was missing something, right? So I've been written about in a couple books. We've been in some magazines. We're very fortunate that the word is getting out. So this is a book that was written about, I used to be, besides doing the news, I worked for a company called Melaleuca, network marketing company, and the president of Melaleuca wrote a book, and he wrote about my story in this. I just want to read a couple paragraphs. If Suzanne had been given children earlier, she might not have been as apt to follow her instinct and pursue the safe haven law in Idaho. She would likely not have Lily as a part of her life. Like Suzanne, we all have defining moments that can easily pass us by. But if we're watching and listening to the winners within, we can seize the moment and change our futures. Those defining moments often come to us as fleeting thoughts, and I believe those thoughts to be inspired. I have learned to treat every good thought as inspiration. No doubt, when we have let that inspiration come and go hundreds of times in our lives, we have missed out. But what if we started living and not let one more pass us by? So seize that moment. It's just those little whisperings of, but maybe, what if you did? What if you said yes? What if you were brave? And I felt very passionate about that. So next slide. So that's the governor handing me the pen, and like I said on the Oprah clip, he thanked me for my involvement. But even right then, I had no idea that I would end up adopting a baby from that law. So this is Lily now. She's gorgeous. And she is, we all say about our kids, beautiful, gorgeous, perfect. And I'm beyond blessed to be her mom. And just last Saturday, she said to me in the car, because she's starting to kind of realize a little bit more. She knows that she's adopted, and she said in the car, she says, Mom, do you realize that if you didn't get that law passed, I wouldn't be in this car right now? It's true, yeah. I don't know where she would be, but I am very thankful to her birth mom for making that very difficult decision to walk away and to leave Lily in a safe place. So please have that discussion. Can all of you promise me that you'll just say, hey, there's this law, please? Because you don't know who is hiding a pregnancy or may make that decision. Because Lily's birth mom was not 18. She was in her 20s. So it's not just young teenage girls hiding their pregnancies, okay? So I had a great experience meeting Oprah. Since then, Lily's story's been written about in a few books and magazines. We've been on radio shows, television shows. And one thing to remember, even for all of you, is like we talked about, our life doesn't turn out how we think it's going to be. But Oprah said on that show to that young girl, you are not your past. You are not your past. And it is so important that we kind of shake off the junk. When I do business coaching, I tell people, you know what you do with the dirty diaper? Do we hang on to those? No, we throw them out. So when you have yucky things in your life, you throw them out. You get rid of it. So why carry around, I'm not married to Lily's dad anymore. We got divorced when she was 2. I don't hang on to any yucky feelings about that. It had to happen. But I'm not going to carry around any ugliness or hatred about anything in my life. It is so not worth it. We have enough stress going on that why do we want the drama and the yuckiness? So throw those dirty diapers away. You have to, please, because it is so difficult to move forward when you're holding on to the past. I'm not mad that I couldn't have kids. I wasn't mad then. I was a little sad. I wasn't mad. We fulfilled our lives in other ways. But there's no reason to hold on to that. I love this quote. It is not who you are that holds you back. It is who you think you are not. So we're going to show a little clip in just a second, too, that is really fun about this, about who you think you are not. In those quiet moments, what do you say to yourself? I did a little clip on this on my Facebook page a few weeks ago, and I asked people, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're putting your makeup on, what do you say to yourself? What is the conversation happening? If it's not positive about yourself, or it's always stressful things, you've got to change that. You have to. You are the most influential person in your life. So I have just a couple this is kind of my little 5 points. If you want to write them down, that's great, because we're going to go through these real quick. So this is what I live by. It's important to open your eyes and your heart. You've got to forgive. You need to forget. That's the shaking it off. Drop the burden. Be grateful every day. List your blessings and be limitless and unafraid. The first little story I want to share is Officer Jeremy Henwood. This is a picture of him inside a McDonald's in San Diego, 2011. This little boy next to him asked the officer for 10 cents to help him. He had a little bit more money. He had the rest of the money. He just needed 10 cents from the officer to help him buy some cookies. And they had a quick little conversation. The officer actually ended up buying the whole thing of cookies. He's like, no, I'll just get the cookies. But the officer asked the young boy, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he says, I want to be a professional basketball star. He says, well, that'll take a lot of hard work. And the boy says, I can do it. Well, That was the last conversation this officer had in his entire life, because 3 minutes later, he was gunned down while sitting in his patrol car. I'm sad today, I'm sorry, but I have a lot of sad stories. But that was his last conversation, and it was an uplifting one to a young man who will never forget that. So are you awake in those moments? He could have easily have just brushed the kid off. Said, I'm sure you can find 10 cents somewhere. Or why do you need those cookies? They'll make you fat, right? Instead, he gave something very beautiful. And he's now been honored because of that. And this young boy says that has changed his life. So what would the last conversation you had say about you? Are we uplifting or are we hurting? Another sad story. This is a family in Utah. I know, but this is what I talk about. It's my news background, right? So we are not here just to get through life. We are here to grow through life. And sometimes those lessons, again, can be very, very hard. There's a video that you can see on YouTube about this, but Chris Williams in 2007 lost many of his family members in a car accident. His wife was pregnant with their 5th child, and 3 of their 4 kids were also in the car, and they were hit by a teenage drunk driver, and many of the family members died. But Chris came to forgive the young man named Cameron. What a beautiful lesson that he was able to forgive the boy that took so much from him. But can you imagine that if he had chosen to be angry, what the other children that survived or were not in that car, how their lives would be? What's that ripple effect? And it's helped Cameron, the young teenage boy, overcome so much guilt. He's not over it perfectly, but when we can just say there's a lesson in there somewhere, and the lesson that is being taught to you also, right? So he's teaching about forgiveness of something so heartbreaking. I couldn't imagine losing my child. I would be very angry too. But the lesson is, but why? Why do we want to hold on to that when we can learn the lesson of forgiveness and healing somehow? It wasn't instant for him. It wasn't the moment that he realized that his wife was dying in front of him, but it took him time, but he did it, and he now shares that message with people. So that's a powerful lesson that he shares. You know, a lot of it comes down to what we're looking at. You know, my daughter and I were in the car a few months ago, driving, we're always in the car, but we were in the car and I was looking at the trash along the side of the road and I was like, man, somebody needs to come pick that up. That looks terrible. And at the same time, Lily says, Mom, look up, there's a bald eagle. And so we pull off the side of the road and we watch this beautiful scene of a bald eagle flying around. I didn't take that picture. I'm not that good. But there's a lot of bald eagles in our area. But it matters where you're looking. I was looking down, same car, same direction, she was looking up. We're all in the same world. And it matters at what you focus on, right? So look at the bald eagle, don't look at the trash. Real quick about the business that I do, because this is now me stepping out of my comfort zone. You know, I promote the safe haven law, but I also had some pretty life-changing benefits from a product that I've been promoting now for the last 1.5 years, and I was fortunate to be successful in this business. Not crazy successful, I'm happily successful. I don't want to, you know, always just, I want to be a mom, and this is what allows me to be a mom. But the company is Zija International. We have a booth over here. My friend David is also helping me run the booth, and so please go say hi to David and ask him some questions. But just real quick, Moringa oleifera is a food. So this is not a juice or a shake, but it is said to be the most nutritious whole food on the planet. And Ken Brailsford is actually the founder of this company, and he's founded 2 other very successful network marketing companies. One of them is Nature Sunshine. You've heard of Nature Sunshine. He's the guy that invented putting herbs in a capsule. Very smart guy. So he put herbs in a capsule first thing. And then when he heard about moringa, he saw a documentary on the Discovery Channel about 14 years ago and said, we need to bring this plant to the rest of the world. And moringa is, you know, like it has 4 times more calcium than milk, 3 times the potassium of bananas, 2 times the protein of yogurt, 4 times the vitamin A of carrots, 7 times the vitamin C of oranges. And it's a drink, it's in a little packet. I drink it 2 times a day. So you just take the dried up plant, the leaves, the stem, the seed, all of it, put it in water and you drink it. It has helped my friends with numerous different ailments, from knee pain and arthritis and fibromyalgia and chronic pain. It also helps you lose weight naturally without crazy dieting, detoxes your body. It's anti-cancer. Moringa's been proven to turn around, reverse, or cure over 300 different diseases. Why would you not put nutrition in your body? My daughter drinks this every day. It's helped with her ADHD, got her off medications. So if you want to talk about this, I would love to talk with you about that product, because that is my next passion, is to continue to help people be healthy. Because when you're healthy, you can also continue to go out and do good things and live a happy, healthy life. So please go out, start living your life fearlessly. Love all of you. Thank you for paying attention, and please have a fantastic life and a great 2 days here. Thank you.